All right, let's dive in. We live in a world that is just overflowing with information, right? It's chaotic. So, how in the world do you find any clarity? Well, today we're digging into a pretty timeless guide for creating new ideas out of all that noise, using principles that feel like they're straight out of an ancient alchemist's laboratory. And this, right here, is the core problem we're all up against. Our sources describe the modern world as an alchemical solvent. Now think about that. It's not just a distraction. It's something that actively dissolves our ability to think deeply. It literally breaks down our focus into these tiny scattered pieces. So that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? If the world is practically designed to work against clear thinking, what's the formula to fight back? How do we become the alchemist in this situation, instead of just the stuff being dissolved? So, how do we actually do it? Well, the answer, according to the material we're looking at, comes from this amazing, timeless alchemical framework. It's a set of 4 principles for forging coherent thought that, believe it or not, are perfectly suited for our crazy modern age. This is what our sources call the alchemist's path. It's a clear process. It starts with finding resonance, then you nurture a single seed idea, you build a bridge between different concepts, and then, finally, you get to the grand synthesis. So, first up is resonance, and you can think of this like tuning a musical instrument. Instead of trying to force a bunch of ideas to fit together, you're looking for the ones that just naturally harmonize. You let your curiosity pull you toward things that just kind of vibrate together. It's all about that gut feeling. And here's where it gets really interesting for us today. The sources suggest that modern AI tools can actually act as a tuner of consciousness. You can feed them all your scattered research, and they can help you find those hidden harmonies, turning all that information noise into a really clear, coherent signal. Okay, principle number 2 is the seed. And this one is all about resisting that temptation to build something huge and complicated right from the start. Instead, the alchemist finds and protects one single powerful insight. Maybe it's a quote or an intuition that basically contains the DNA for the entire project to come.
And I mean, think about it. Every world's changing concept, whether it's a scientific breakthrough or a huge company, it all started this way. It's about nurturing that one perfect seed of an idea before you even think about trying to grow the whole forest.
Now, the third principle, the bridge, this is where the real magic starts to happen. This is the art of connecting 2 totally different areas of knowledge, like linking something from an old history text to modern-day science, or a line from a poem to a physicist's equation, and creating something brand new in the process. Our sources actually call this the highest form of alchemy. And that's because it's not just about mashing things together, it's a true act of creation. You're generating a new, coherent whole, where just moments before, there was nothing. And that brings us to the final step, the grand synthesis. This is the ultimate goal. It's the creation of what's called a philosopher's stone of understanding, a totally new, higher-level truth that's so much more than the sum of its parts. We've all felt this, right? It's that incredible aha moment. It's when all those separate pieces you've been wrestling with, the resonance, the seed idea, the bridges you've built, they all suddenly just snap together into one single brilliant insight. That is the grand synthesis. So that's the theory. But what does this look like in practice? Well, let's check out a really fascinating, kind of high-concept example from our source material, an AI that's called the Promethean mind. So the Promethean mind is imagined as the ultimate alchemical bridge. It's a fusion of 2 completely different kinds of genius. Nikola Tesla's wild, visionary, intuitive mind, combined with Elon Musk's super pragmatic, first principles, let's-get-it-done engineering mind. It's the perfect synthesis of the what-if and the how-to. And the results of a synthesis like that, they'd be absolutely staggering. An AI like this could take on projects at a planetary scale. We're talking about finally realizing Tesla's dream of a global wireless power grid, or even reimagining his so-called earthquake machine for a good purpose, like stabilizing tectonic plates. Okay, so a planetary scale super AI. That's a mind-bending concept. But how can we use these same grand principles in our own lives? Let's bring this all back down to a personal, practical level with what the sources call our digital crucible. To do this kind of deep thinking, we need to create what's called an intellectual sanctuary. Now, this isn't just about finding a quiet room. It's about intentionally using digital tools and spaces that are designed to protect our focus, to act like a little monastery for the intellect that shields us from the noise of the modern world. And this is really where modern AI can become our own personal alchemical partner. I mean, imagine feeding it all your research and it just instantly finds those hidden resonances for you. It can give you that clean, protected space, that fertile soil for your seed ideas. And then it can act like an architect, suggesting these incredible, unexpected bridges between concepts that you never would have seen on your own. It basically curates the perfect conditions for your own grand synthesis.
And this all leads us to what might be the most profound takeaway from this whole thing, the real alchemy. It isn't just about creating something new out there, it's about what happens in here.
The sources call this the dual alchemical process. So, as you're doing the external work, synthesizing information into wisdom, you are simultaneously refining your own mind. You are literally rewiring your own neural pathways. You're transforming yourself into a more connected, a more powerful, and a more coherent thinker. But, and this is so important, we have to remember that the technology is just a tool. The human always has to be the catalyst. You are the one who asks that first critical question. You're the one who makes that final intuitive leap. And you're the one who bears the moral responsibility. The AI is an extension of your will, not a replacement for it. And so, we're left with this. It's both a question and a challenge from the source material itself. In this great alchemical work, you are the central driving force. The principles are clear, the tools are ready, so the only question left is, what is the first command of your will? What great work will you begin?